Welcome back to Fog Wrestling here, and Adam Pearce has announced that the New Day are going to be having a special episode of WWE Raw dedicated to them. And here, ignore the traffic, there is cars flying past, but you know, I've said it once, I'll say it a million times, we're a wrestling fan channel that actually get out the house, so yeah, deal with it, man. But yeah, a special episode of WWE Raw is dedicated to the New Day, announced by Adam Pearce. So, as seen during the November 4th edition of WWE Raw, the New Day lost to the War Raiders in a tag team match. There would have been teases of a split between Kofi and Xavier in recent months. In a post-match video published to WWE's social media accounts, Kofi met with Raw General Manager Adam Pearce despite Xavier not being present. Pearce said the following to Kofi. Before we get into what he said about Kofi, right, let's just call a spade, folks. The New Day don't deserve a special episode of Raw dedicated to them, and you know why they don't deserve it? One, they're not dead. I feel like if you die, then yes, absolutely. McMahon did a great job of that in the past. I feel like in the Triple H era, when it's happened, I think they've dropped the ball big time. It is what it is. But I mean, it's like, yo, I actually don't mind the New Day, right? I really used to dislike them, but I think in the last couple of years, I mean, I'm not saying they're doing great work, by the way, I mean, but they're a better tag team than, you know, the vast majority that are in WWE. It is what it is, but it's like, I mean, the Hardys haven't had this, the Dudleys haven't had this. Like, we've had a few people get, like, The Undertaker had it at Survivor Series a couple of years ago. The Triple H had like 25 years of Triple H during COVID. I just don't think the New Day for 10 years really deserve it. I mean, I know why they've done this. This is to set up a potential split between these two, but honestly, like, this isn't a ploy that's going to get ratings. This isn't a ploy that's going to draw a dime, in my eyes at least. Like, they've never drew a dime, right? Never, ever drew a dime in, like, the history of wrestling. It is what it is. They're just not big enough to dedicate an episode of Raw to. And to be honest, folks, I think we're just at a stage in wrestling where, like, no one really draws, you know what I mean? It's like, who's going to get a full show dedicated to them, right? And what you've got to bear in mind is, people like me be like, oh, you know, Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre, oh. But it's like, yeah, right now their stock is like relatively high, right? But it's like, when Cody Rhodes in like 2007, like 2027, say that's 20 years of Cody Rhodes, even though he's not been in the company 20 years, so I don't know when you have to redraw the line, is it 2022 or something? Anyway, it's like, I just don't think these shows draw, right? And I get it, the full show isn't going to be like a full 2-hour dedication to the New Day. I mean, they tend not to work like that. But again, I don't know, it just seems incredibly cheap, folks. So this is what Adam Pearce told the big man. This year, 10 years as the New Day, it's time to celebrate, man. You guys are one of the most decorated tag teams in WWE history. Because of that, if it's cool with guys actually want to dedicate a special episode of Raw to celebrating you, an entire episode, if it's cool with you guys. I mean, an entire episode. The way he's speaking there, man. Absolutely crazy talk. Absolutely crazy talk. Dedicating an episode to these jobbers, man. That's absolutely mental. I mean, that is. I mean, how the fuck are the New Day getting an episode dedicated to him? And what, are they even going to bring Big E back for it? Well, but Big E's injured. Big E's neck's humped. We see him on enough pre-show panel. I mean, honestly, he's on every pre-show panel. They can't do a 10-year celebration without Big E. I'm not even a big fan of Big E, but it doesn't even make any sense that they don't have Big E. You know what I mean? But then he can't take bumps. Or can he take bumps? I don't know, I'm not his doctor at the end of the day, but I look at this, folks, and I just think, I think an episode of Raw dedicated to the New Day shows you, like, how far we've fallen. I truly mean that. It's like, we've seen tragically over the past couple of years, you know, like Scott Hall, Hard Finkel, you know, Bray Wyatt, just to name a few. Not going to go for everyone, but it's like, these guys did not get full pay-per-views dedicated to them. Nowhere near full pay-per-views, like shows dedicated to them. I don't know, I think the New Day getting one for 10 years is mental, man. I really think it is. Like, the Dudleys came in and what, It was the Dudleys the Dudleys were in late '98. Dudleys didn't last to 2008, but I guess all these tag teams I'm talking about have all had like off periods. The New Day have been there 10 years, but where do you draw the line?